out at the Bowling Green State University Ice Arena, and it is a great pleasure to speak with a two-time national figure skating champion, Alissa Czisny, a homegrown product right here from the figure skating capital of the world, Bowling Green, Ohio. And the reason that Alissa is here, it is very, very special. It is part of a show that is going to be coming up called Skate for Hope. It is a children's charity show that really supports cancer research, health and wellness education, a lot of outstanding things, and Alissa is going to be part of that along with a lot of other world-class figure skaters. And thank you very much for the opportunity to talk with you a little bit about this. Talk about your desire to get involved with an organization like Skate for Hope. Obviously, it's a great thing to be involved with. You were involved with it 2005, I guess, on your 18th birthday, and you have a personal reason too, because cancer has touched your family as well.
For me, I think the biggest thing is to be able to use the talents that I have to help other people. To be able to use my skating to not only bring enjoyment to people, but be able to help earn money for great causes such as this one.
Mm-hmm. Now, your sister Amber, who is also a nationally classed figure skater, and she is a great figure skating coach, she actually was diagnosed with cancer several years ago. She's been recovered and doing well, but I'm sure that that lends a personal touch to you being involved in a program such as this.
It does, yes. I mean, not only for my family, but to know what it's like to go through something like that and to help other people who are going through the same thing.
Right. Now, you're here at Bowling Green State University, and I'm sure it brings back memories of your early skating days. Of course, Scott Hamilton, a great skating icon, and your picture is up on that wall too for national skating championships. What kind of recollections come back to your early skating days here?
I think I grew up in this rink. I spent so much time here, and I have so many memories, and to come back, it's great to see where I started.
Mm-hmm. Did you really feel when you first began that it would end up the way it did with you going to those great heights that you reached, or was it just something you loved doing?
It was just something I loved doing. It was just another playground for my sister and me. And not until I was a little bit, I just enjoyed skating, and so it wasn't until I was a little bit older that I started having bigger aspirations and really wanted to go somewhere in my skating as a career.
Mm-hmm. I think I read somewhere that you started at 1.5 because you didn't want to be left with a babysitter. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Well, great careers have started for less auspicious reasons than that, so that's certainly great. And then when did you start to really realize that, hey, you know, I have some kind of a special gift here that not a lot of people have?
I think I was about 9 or 10 or so, and I won a pretty major competition, you know, a smaller major competition in the U.S., and then people started to say, you know, you really could go somewhere in your skating career, and then that's when I realized that maybe it's not only just something I can do for fun, but something I can do with my life.
Mm-hmm. It's obviously, it takes a tremendous amount of dedication and a tremendous amount of commitment. I certainly don't have to tell you that, but it's difficult for people to make that kind of commitment. Was it difficult for you to really stick with it and do everything that was necessary to become a world-class skater?
Yes and no. No, because I'm passionate about what I'm doing and I love doing it, and there's nothing I would rather be doing. So it's not at all hard to make those sacrifices, but it's been tough, some of the things that I've been through. And you know, you want to give up and you want to do something easy, but then you realize that you wouldn't love doing something else.
Mm-hmm. You see a lot of the kids around here, and they're talented skaters, and a lot of them talk about what they'd love to do as far as being competitive skaters and all that. Do you feel that you can give them some guidance as far as to say, well, yeah, that's great to have that dream, but it's going to take some sacrifice?
I think maybe. I've been through all of it, and I'm really love to be able to help those that are, you know, just starting out skating or sort of in the middle of their skating career, just to be able to give them advice that I've learned along the way.
Mm-hmm. Now, your career, I think, is really outstanding for young people to look at, to really learn a lot of things, not just about skating, but about life and dealing with the ups and downs in life and so forth. In fact, I can hardly think of a better person who's experienced those sorts of things. Let's maybe start off. You had your great high of being the U.S. national champion in 2009. That must have been a culmination of just dreams you'd had forever, and I'm sure you have very fond recollections of that.
That was one of my best memories in my skating career, because up until that point I didn't know if I could make it all the way, and having earned that national title really made me realize that all of that hard work was paying off and that I could make my skating into a career.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the Olympics were the next year, and you were really the favorite to represent the United States. And then you had not as successful a competition the next year and ended up not making the team. And I'm sure that was devastating.
It was. I mean, that was a point in my career where I didn't know if I wanted to continue skating. I thought that, you know, if I can't be good enough to make the Olympic team, if I'm going to struggle like this, maybe I don't want to continue. And that was like, took a good hard look at what I wanted to do with my life and decided that I wanted to continue skating, to continue competing, and ultimately to do shows.
Mm-hmm. And then you came back and you won it again the next year, the national championships, and a silver medal the year after that. Obviously, it must have been tough, but there must have been a voice inside saying, hey, I am good enough. I already won a national championship. It was just one of those things that happened. And did that help you to maybe realize that it is something you need to do to continue?
Actually, I think the second title was sweeter to me because I had been through all of that, and I took a good hard look at, you know, am I doing all that I can do? And I made some changes, changed coaches, which ultimately helped change my perspective on competition, and that was able to bring me back to actually better than I had ever been.
Mm-hmm. And then you had another opportunity to represent the country at the Olympics, and injuries got in the way. And so I'm sure even though it was for a different reason, it was just that disappointment all over again. It must have been difficult to deal with.
That was pretty heartbreaking. Just, you know, I tried my best to come back after 2 surgeries, and no matter what I did, I wasn't able to, and I didn't want to sacrifice my health at that point because, you know, as important as the Olympics are, I still have the rest of my life and my career in front of me, and it was tough, but I think ultimately that can help me even just to help other people through similar situations.
Right. Well, certainly I think there's a lot of difficult things that one has to deal with in terms of maybe just how they see themselves, their self-image. You're constantly being judged for everything you do, and there's so much pressure and so many people are counting on you. And if things don't go well, I'm sure there's a certain temptation to think that it's a personal reflection on you until you step back and realize that that's not the case. Talk about that.
That's, I think, exactly true. This is definitely a judged sport. I mean, we're not racing for speed or something. So everything is subjective, and if you're not careful, you sort of buy into the idea that your self-worth is equal to what you do on the ice, and that's a big thing that we have to learn in skating, is that who we are and what we do out on the ice are 2 separate things. And once you can realize that, then you can really bring your true self on the ice and skate for other people and skate for who you are rather than worry about how other people are judging you. And I think you can carry that into your life as well.
No question. And everybody has to deal with that, maybe not in front of a worldwide audience the way that you had to do. But have you found that those experiences that I'm sure at the time you really would have preferred not to have had to go through have enriched your life in a way that you can then help other people in a way you couldn't have before?
Most definitely. I think, you know, it's always nice to win and it's always nice to have success, but I think you learn the most when you go through the disappointments, when you go through the hard times, and you come out on the other side. Having learned from those experiences, you grow as a person, I think, and you're also able to help other people through similar situations.
Do you get a chance maybe to do a little more of that now because you're working with young skaters in shows like this, and there's not so much pressure, and you can relate to people as individuals more?
Yes, and that's one thing I absolutely love about coaching, is I'm able to bring all of my experiences, and I still have a passion for the sport, but I'm able to help them further their own skating and to help them through tough times to be able to get the success that they're looking for.
In the midst of all these professional things we were talking about, then you had the situation with your sister having a brush with cancer, and I'm sure, as we said before, that lends meaning to your participation in Skate for Hope, but that must have made everything even more difficult at that time.
At some point, I think, too, when you go through situations like that, you realize what's really important in life and who is really important in your life, and then you realize that the relationships are the most important thing, I think.
And Olympic gold medals are nice, but they're not the primary thing in life.
Exactly. I mean, at the end of your life, you don't look back and say, you know, I'm happiest about this Olympic medal that I won. You're happiest about, I think, the relationships that you're able to foster throughout your life.
No question. Do you get a chance to talk to the kids and relate to them on this kind of a level when you're in the process of working with them and that sort of thing?
I think so. I mean, I'm not very far away from their own similar situation because I just finished competing myself, so it's very easy for me to to try to imagine what they're going through at the time, because I can so easily remember it myself still.
Well, certainly you have a great platform, and I'm sure that they really take very, very seriously the things that you have to tell them, and that's a gift that not everybody has, and certainly it's great to see you using it in such a positive fashion, and we certainly appreciate your joining us today and also your participation with Skate for Hope.
Thank you.
Two-time national U.S. figure skating champion Alissa Czisny here at the BGSU Ice Arena. Greg Franke for BCSN.